Good morning. I hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday, December 2nd. It's a rainy morning. I hope you're staying dry. For those of you who haven't had a chance to see a play this semester, and you are here in Sumter on USC's campus or nearby, on Wednesday and Thursday, December 3rd and 4th, Fire Ant Theater, the new drama club on USC Sumter's campus, will present a winter showcase. This is an hour-long evening of monologues, some contemporary, some classical, and four 10-minute plays. These are plays that we have been working on in our classes on campus, our uh, voice and speech class, as well as the fundamentals of acting class. Um, and members of the drama club decided that these would be some that they would like to present. So we will be performing these plays on Wednesday and Thursday. You are certainly able to write your critique, your review on this performance. You can single out one of the four plays to write on. You can certainly write on all of them. Uh, as many as you would like. But I want to encourage you to attend the performance. It is the first time that we've done it. This is our first winter showcase. I'm personally very proud of the work that these students have done and are doing. And we really hope that this will be something that we can do every semester in the winter and give students an opportunity to get involved in theater on the USC Sumter campus. Okay, by the beginning of the 19th century, the neoclassical ideal had become something that playwrights, artists were getting fed up with. The restrictions were extensive, harsh. This opened the way for a period known as Romanticism, and Romanticism rejected just about every one of the neoclassical rules. The thought that truth is only found in norms, and norms were the conventional behavior, the respectable, normal, as it was seen, behavior of human beings. With Romanticism, a variety of nature, a variety of forms was accepted. The following of the unities of time, place, and action was not as strict. As a matter of fact, it wasn't followed at all. And the behavior of characters was determined by their situations. So Romanticism rejected just about all of the neoclassical principles. What came from this period, this romantic period, was a genre called melodrama. Melodrama was exciting. It was vast. The stories carried us from one location to another. There was always heightened action, suspense, overwrought emotional situations that characters find themselves in. And just at the point where they feel like it's too late, something happens and sweeps them out of this awful circumstance. The one thing that's very true about melodrama is that the good guy always wins. Poetic justice is alive and well in melodrama. Because of the scope of melodramas, in that they were so vast, moving from place to place and involving all of this action, theaters were constructed to accommodate these melodramas. As a matter of fact, in London during the 19th century, because people were moving to the city for employment, and the railroad or the locomotive was something that was increasing productivity, and industrialization was growing. People were coming to the city for work, and the entertainment that was accessible was melodrama, and melodrama theaters developed all over London or were built all over London. To accommodate these stories, they shifted, they changed the stage so that stages could revolve, revealing scenery. They would have, if there was, for example, a melodrama that involved water or was set by the ocean or by the sea, they would figure out a way to remove a section of the floor and actually add water for the spectacle. That's the thing about melodrama. Melodrama was high on spectacle. One of the most popular melodramas during this time was an adaptation of Alexander Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo. You talk about a vast story that goes from place to place and finds the hero, Edmond Dantes, in situations that are just unbelievable. An Irish actor by the name of James O'Neill, famous actor even before he took on this role, became famous for portraying the Count of Monte Cristo. He did it all over the world for most of his adult life. After he reached a certain point of success and was able to purchase the rights to the play, he for the rest of his life rather, he performed as the Count of Monte Cristo, the great success. And it was said that at that time he was the wealthiest actor living. Now, in addition to this time during the 19th century, um, after we surpassed melodrama, and honestly, the only thing that kind of eclipsed melodrama as the pop culture manifestation of romanticism, as we get toward the end of the 19th century, silent film takes over, and that becomes the popular form of entertainment. During the 19th century, two intellectual scientific advancements had an impact on art and on theater. First was Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Second is Sigmund Freud's theory of personality. Both of these introduced the idea of heredity and environment. Sigmund Freud said, left up to our own devices, the human being would be, or the human animals would be interested in two things: survival and procreation. Everything else about us has to be learned. Behavior has to be adapted, understood, and incorporated into our everyday life. We learn about how we live in society from experiencing it. Heredity is something that speaks to our genetic background. We are who we come from. This idea influenced a movement that is known as realism. The realists believed that character was determined by heredity and environment. The leader of this movement was a playwright by the name of, brain fart there, a playwright by the name of Henrik Ibsen. Ibsen was considered the founder of modern drama. And around the middle of the 19th century, he wrote several plays. One in particular is a play called A Doll's House. And of his plays, all of them are based on this theory that character is determined by heredity and environment. But in A Doll's House, the main character, Nora Helmer, demonstrates this very clearly. I will share a video link to a production of this play. Please watch it. It is very interesting. In addition to realism, a more extreme form of realism called naturalism came about. More extreme because In realism, we get information through exposition that characters could be involved in some nefarious activity. They could be thieves, they could be criminals, they could be drug addicts, alcoholics, they could be suffering from some incurable disease. That informs the character. In naturalism, we actually see these people experiencing the pain of this condition. We see alcoholics in under the influence or incapacitated. We see people suffering from illnesses. This realism, this heavy, intense, extreme realism, brought about a group of theater artists who were determined to see that this movement of naturalism, took hold. One person in particular, when we speak about naturalism, is a man by the name of Emile Zola. Emile Zola was a theater artist, a director, playwright. Emile Zola believed that theater should be a slice of life. We don't need the wordiness explanation of situations from realism. Naturalism has to cut to the core. In other words, providing life as it truly is on stage. This was difficult. Audiences weren't really ready for that type of theater just then. Also, because of naturalism and this new way of writing and dealing with realistic circumstances and situations, um, subject matter was at sometimes risky. For example, in the case of these naturalistic plays. Uh, and for that reason, because the government was involved in funding the productions of these major plays in state funded theaters, uh, censors began to pass judgment on plays. These plays that were found to be unacceptable did not have an easy way to be presented or performed. For this reason, independent theaters were formed. And an independent theater is a theater that is supported by private money, individuals who want to see theater being produced, presented, performed, even if it does deal with a risky subject. Independent theaters popped up all over Europe. The first was a theater in Paris called Théâtre Libre, and the director of the theater was a man by the name of André Antoine. He was a naturalist. It is said that for one of his productions that was set in an abattoir, a butcher shop, to make things truly realistic. He hung actual animal carcasses on stage and had blood pots and really created that natural, that realistic atmosphere. Other independent theaters, for example, was a theater called the Moscow Art Theater in Moscow, Russia. The director of that theater was a man by the name of Konstantin Stanislavski. Stanislavski was also a great acting instructor who developed a system for actors that is studied throughout the world today.